My name is Beth Bachman. My husband, Cliff, and I live in St. Louis, Missouri. We have 4 children, and we now have 1 grandchild. We were introduced to Reliv almost 13 years ago, and at the time it was my health issues that brought us into Reliv. I was battling severe migraine headaches, digestive issues, and had just recently been diagnosed with full-blown osteoporosis. And I was in my 40s, and that was pretty upsetting because as a physical therapist, I knew how devastating that was to have osteoporosis. My doctor wanted to put me on a medication, and instead I didn't tell him no. What I said to him was, I want to try a nutritional approach. Will you monitor me while I take these products? Got started on the Reliv products. My migraine headaches came under control. My digestive issues came under control. And when I went in for my follow-up bone density test, my doctor was very excited to tell me that I no longer have osteoporosis. And I've remained that way since. So he's thrilled and I'm thrilled. All 4 of our children have been on the products, and they've all gotten great results. But our best result by far is my husband, Cliff. He says that, he was so glad to be on the products because it gave me a quality of life I never thought I would have. But we were never more thankful to be on Reliv when my husband was diagnosed with stage 3 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. The sad reality is 1 in every 2 men and 1 in every 3 women will hear the words, you have cancer, at some time in their life. And when Cliff heard those words, we knew that we had our hands on something very powerful. He really increased the amount of products he was taking, and he went from stage 3 cancer to complete remission in less than 90 days. Now the doctors, he did have chemotherapy, but the doctor said chemotherapy does not work this fast. He said your recovery is dramatic and remarkable. And my husband has been in remission ever since then, and we are so thankful for that. We didn't wait to get our best results before we started working the business because we were at church and we heard people that had prayer requests for their health and for their finances, and we started sharing Reliv. And our first month working it very part-time, we made $127, and we were just beginning to learn the business. We didn't really understand it, but we were pretty happy to get that check. The next month it doubled. The month after that it doubled again. Every single month we've made a profit. Our highest month has been over $2,500. And our goal is to continue to build our retirement to just pay off all our kids' college education and to pay it forward and bless a lot of other people the same way we've been blessed. That's our story, and we just are so grateful to be able to share it with others. So thank you.
Well, Beth, I mentioned beforehand how life-changing this can be, and that certainly is true for Cliff. It's true for all of you, but particularly for him. And, we have to be so careful that we do not make any claims about what Reliv can do, but here's an example of the benefits he's had. The reality for him, it's not anybody else making a claim. This is actually what has happened for Cliff, and you have medical documentaries back up to say this could not normally happen just with chemotherapy, not that quickly, and that is amazing to still be in remission now. And let's hope he stays that way forever. That will be wonderful. And just really grateful for you sharing your story. Also, your osteoporosis, that is not something that normally goes into reverse. And there you are, you no longer have that. And that, again, just amazing. So thank you so much for sharing your story. And I know people will be interested to see that you started the business alongside the products because you don't have to wait. We all have so many stories at our fingertips that we can connect people with before we get our own results, that you really, truly can start to earn while you're learning and helping others. So thank you for sharing that, Beth. It was really, really important that people hear that.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Well, now I'm going to pop across to Europe to Horst. Horst, would you like to share with everybody your experience with Reliv? Because you've had some amazing benefits too. I would certainly say Reliv has changed your life.
That's true. Thank you for this invitation. I will try to do it. I'm Horst Scheuer from Austria in the center of Europe. I'm 52 years old, and I'm married. We have 3 lovely children, and my problem has to do with burnout and depression, mainly both in the highest level, so there's nothing above it, just to die, more or less. And we spent really a lot of money to bring up the health because I had my own company, and it was really, really hard not to be able to work. And also we spent a lot of money, nothing was ongoing working. That was really dramatic. But then we heard about Relief, and we lost 1 year because 1 year we did not want to hear a presentation. We heard about it, and we thought we already tried everything. So how can Relief be different to something we tried before? But friends were ongoing inviting us, and then we went to one of these presentations, and Sabine and I, we decided to start with Relief, and it was unbelievable. Within a very short time, the digestion changed, got better and better, and with that, the energy came back. Friends who know me well could hardly believe how much my life changed. So my back pains are gone. I started to sleep better and better. I had a lot of panic attacks. It was really hard to understand. I was not able to get up from the bed for around 3 months. I was laying in the bed like a baby. I could not move. I could not do anything. And now I could carry things around, helping my friend, changing his home. And they were looking, hey, what's going on with you? I want to have the same thing you take. And the biggest thing was I just knew a life with dark gray and black clouds in my head and around my head. And one morning I stood up, and they were gone. And they didn't come back anymore now, since more than 3 years. And some time ago, 2 of my 3 children were talking with friends. I don't know if they realized that I was close to them, and I heard what they said, but they said, Daddy is back again. And that was such an emotional moment, because when we heard about Relief, don't just live, relive, I was laughing about this sentence, but in this moment it got true. Don't just live, relive. I am back again, and that's just and only because of Relief. It changed my life and the life of my whole family, and you can be sure I can't stop talking about it. It changed our life. Perfect. Great.
Oh, well,
that's my story in a few sentences.
Oh, Horst, I know anybody who's listening that's had any way of depression, in any form, and that burnout, that energy loss and everything else that you suffered, the panic attacks, will really relate to what you've shared. But I know how bad your situation was, and now to hear you sharing on this call and seeing how much you reach out and help other people, it's just been a real pleasure to have you on the call. And there'll be a lot of people that either are listening to this call now or will listen to the playback of this call, and it will help them. So you are making a difference in other people's lives way beyond where you think you are. So thank you so much for sharing for us today.
Thank you. Thank you. All the best to you all.
And
bye-bye.
All the best to everyone in Austria, too.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, these stories really, somebody asked one time what it is about these stories. Why is it so important to hear stories? Well, you just heard 2 stories so far. And I don't know about you, but they get me in the heart. I actually feel how these people have been and how they are now. And that is why I do what I do and why we do what we do. Just making that difference, and it's wonderful to hear from both Beth and Horst how that has happened. And building this business enables us to reach out and reach more people. And somebody who's done that very successfully, because she's a bronze ambassador with Relief, is our next guest. And I'd like to introduce you to Rhonda Martin. who comes from, I believe, Pennsylvania. Rhonda, would you like to come on and just share your whole story with everybody? You have just such an amazing story as a family, and also your business story. So if you'd like to share all of that with us, we'd be most grateful.
Okay, sure. Well, hi everyone. My name is Rhonda Martin. I'm from here in Myerstown, Pennsylvania, and I'm a stay-at-home mom. And I have 2 little girls. Our oldest is 5, and our youngest is 2. And we took a look at Relive 6 years ago and got started on the products simply for my health. And maybe I shouldn't say simply, but at the time I was dealing with seizures multiple times a day that medication wasn't able to control, and we were looking at getting married in a month, and we had just seriously sat down and made that decision to not go on our honeymoon because of how sick I was, not only from the seizures, but I had been diagnosed with Lyme disease, and at that point it had turned chronic, which basically means it basically affected my whole body, and the seizures were part of that. And for the Lyme disease, it really affected my brain as far as cognitive function, and I felt like the brain fog just was really hampered my ability to, function during the day too, as well as the seizures. But and it also caused a lot of heart problems for myself, and I had difficulty breathing at times, and just caused sciatic nerve pain. I hurt most everywhere all the time, and had panic attacks, and was dealing with depression and sensitivity to light and sound, and it was really affecting my nerve endings too by that point. And that alone put my health down pretty far. And when we took a look at Relive, we've been just praying for an answer. And so we heard the stories. I was skeptical, but we decided to get started. And my first day on the products, my muscles were much more relaxed, and I went that whole day without a seizure, and I guess you could say that caught our attention. But then within 2 weeks, I started sleeping through the night the first time in 2 years, and I started seeing more energy. And, when you go from spending a good half of your day or more in bed because of chronic fatigue, that energy, the little bit more that you get is a huge change. But, within a month's time, we started seeing major changes, just gradually. But you know what? We were able to get married, and I didn't have seizures on our wedding day, and we were able to go on our honeymoon. And, I continue to get results. I was also diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome, and the doctors told me it would be pretty hard to have children. But, oh my, was it about a month and a half of taking the products, I suddenly found out that I was pregnant. And, I used Relive as a prenatal the whole time, and she was born happy and healthy, and she still is. She's 5 years old. She's been to the doctor once for a sick visit. And my second daughter, I also use as a prenatal, and she ended up having colic, and we found out that she had a hard time digesting protein when she was about 3 months old, and she also was dealing with pretty bad constipation issues. And so, just switching up some things, within a month's time, it brought her back to being a healthy baby that was having, going every day. And that was just a blessing for a mom that's just really wanting to see her baby happy again. And, my husband got incredible results too with allergies. It took him about 1.5 years till his allergy symptoms cleared up. And he also had problems with constipation. And I would say one of the biggest results he's seen was headaches and back pain that he had from a bad bicycle accident, where it actually moved the plates of his skull and like his ribs and hip. And it took the chiropractor 9 months to move everything back in place again. But he always had that pain. And he rarely has a headache. He rarely goes to the chiropractor. It might be once every 6 months. And so it's just been life-changing for myself. And actually my husband just went through shingles last month. And he started noticing more spots that were tingly, and like it gets right before you start getting more spots. And he decided one day to just take a half a can of Classic, and you know what? It stopped, and we were just so amazed. He has no lasting nerve pain from that either, and you know, it's just been such a blessing for us. This past summer, I contacted Lyme again for the third time in 7 years, and it was even more severe than I've ever had it. And for about a week, it's hard to function. I had so much inflammation throughout my body. I had constant pressure headaches and had difficulty swallowing and breathing at times. And, you know, I was so thankful that I had something in my hands that I could be confident in, that could bring my body back to health again and be able to function and take care of my little girls and be a wife again and just the normal things. And I'm more than 7 months out from that now. And, you know, I don't have that explosive anger anymore that I had for the first time ever in my life because of the Lyme. And my brain fog is mostly gone. And I have the energy that I need. I rarely take a nap during the day. And so to say that this has been life-changing for us is just feels, you know, it's just such a blessing to us. And, you know, we had decided early on to start sharing this with other people. And, you know, it's been quite a journey, lots of growth. We're still learning. And it's been such an honor to become Bronze Ambassadors. And that's just simply, you know, it's nothing, how should I say it? It's all because of people getting their lives back. And, you know, we know what that's like, and it's exciting for us to see where this is going for us. And, you know, we will continue to reach out and share, and we will continue to learn and continue to care. We know we'll never stop taking these products or sharing this. So that's my story.
Well, Rhonda, when I saw how much had happened for you and your family, I just thought, oh my goodness. I mean, it's just really quite incredible that all these things have happened and everything has changed for you. And I'm just so pleased for you that Relive has done its job in giving your body that fuel it needed and turning things around for you. And now you have a business because of that, which, you know, for those listening who don't understand the words we use, like Bronze Ambassador, this means that Rhonda has had a residual income of over $4,000 in a single month, 2 months on the trot rather, and also has helped somebody else do the same. So that is quite incredible to be able to help somebody else earn that sort of money, and that can be life-changing in itself to actually be able to, you know, have that sort of income, especially as a residual income. Rhonda, you probably haven't even thought about it yet, but with your children so young. But, you know, to be able to build that residual income and hand it on, will it on to your children, and so on is just so special in Relive. I mentioned that we've been involved in network marketing for 39 years. Well, Relive is the first company that we've met where we could build that residual income, and it would actually continue to pay us when we do eventually retire, and also we can will it on to our children and our grandchildren, because we have 7 grandchildren, 3 children, 7 grandchildren, and, you know, it's great to think that we can leave a legacy for them, and that can be so important too. I'd just like to ask you a couple of questions about the PCOS, because I have somebody I know that I think would benefit from hearing your story. So if I get it right, they suggested that you would not be able to have children because of this syndrome.
Yes, it has to do with basically it's a hormonal imbalance, and so for me, it was you know, your cycle is very sporadic, and that's one of the reasons. And I know, I know for myself, I dealt with a lot of sporadic times, but then it also caused severe pain and really heavy bleeding, and to the point where I would take off of work 2 to 4 days whenever I would get it, and it would just be, and yeah, the doctors tell you it can be very hard to have children, and I know there's a lot of people that are often put on medications, and I've never actually had to be on. Actually, I've been on birth control pills, and that's the only thing, but that was never a lasting thing to help with my symptoms and to get myself back on track. But Relive, to this day, everything is very, very scheduled. So that's a blessing. And I have little to no pain, actually. So.
And the other blessing is those 2 little girls you have.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yes.
Well, thank you so much for sharing for us, Rhonda. We really appreciate you coming on the call and sharing. And I'm sure that, oh my goodness, there must be people listening that either have or know people with all the things that have changed for you and your husband. And do your daughters take the product too?
Oh, yes, absolutely. My oldest has been taking it since 3 weeks old, and my youngest since 4 days old. And
wow.
They love it. They love it.
Well, there's a good advert. Well, thank you so much, and thank you, Beth and Horst. Wonderful to hear all your stories today. We're going to be back again next week with some more stories, and just get your friends to listen to this call, because that's how we move Relive along, is by hearing stories or experiences of people both with their health and their business. And you can make a difference by just connecting people up with stories. I always remember Jim Rogers saying, getting paid as the best people connector in the world. That was part of his story. So thank you again. And I'm just going to open the lines up so everybody can say goodbye to each other.